Hey guys, week 13. It's going to be shock week. Really looking forward to this week. Choosing this upgrade is one of the hardest choices that I personally have. Shocks, there's so many different options. This truck I was going to try and play around with maybe some different options, some things that I hadn't tried before, but I got to the point where I just want this truck to perform as best as it can, so I'm going to go with what I know performs the best. And that is the Proline Powerstrokes for the Slash. Now, the Slash runs a longer in the rear and then a shorter in the front. I've got both sets here off of different trucks that I've had them on in the past. These longer versions are actually off my hit and run buggy, which I'm going to disassemble. This truck is doing so well now that I don't think I need two Wraiths pushing that same performance barrier. This truck isn't quite up to what the hit and run was yet, but I mean, we're on week 13 now. As we keep going, it's going to keep getting better and better, and pretty soon it's going to be just as capable as that one was. So I've decided that I'm going to take off what was on that hit and run buggy that I want and sell the rest off. And it was so muddy and messy from that G6 that I think it was just better to sell it anyway. But anyway, so like I said, I'm going to go with the shock that I know performs the best on the Wraith. There's a lot of other options out there. I've ran a ton of different shocks on the Wraiths trying to find what I liked best. And the smaller diameter shocks that are out there, the scale shocks, like the Kings from RC 4-wheel drive, that's just not a shock that belongs on a Wraith that you're going for performance on. Those are absolutely the most scale shocks available, but they do not perform. For a truck the size of a Wraith, you need something with a large diameter body to give you that dampening. Those small diameter scale shocks, they just don't have it there. By the time you put a spring on it that's stiff enough to hold the truck up and perform well, it doesn't have enough dampening power. Even you end up running, you're just chasing yourself, trying to run 100-weight oils and things like that to try and slow it down enough to make it perform. But if you run a proper shock setup, something that's sized for the vehicle, you'll be just fine. And I've found these Proline Powerstrokes to be great. And they come with the 2-stage springs on them, and then there's the tuning packs available. I've had pretty good luck with the stock rates on a heavier truck. This truck's still pretty light, so I might end up softening it up a bit, but we'll see once I do some actual testing. So I'm going to jump right into getting these installed. I use a metal, it's a modified rod end on the back side of these. They are off of like a original version Berg or something like that, so I can't help you out with those, but there's a lot of different ways to mount a shock, so you'll just have to do whatever you can do to get those on there. But I'm going to get these cleaned up just a little bit with a brush because they're still a little muddy, and then I'm going to get them on this truck. Shock installs are obviously pretty easy, but the other thing is that these shocks are a little bit more expensive, and I'm going to blow my budget by about $4 or something like that. So I'm going to break my own rule and go just a little bit out of the price range for this week, but we'll make it up next week, and we'll be in pretty decent shape. So I'm going to get moving on these. Hey guys, shocks are all on there. Everything went smoothly, super easy to install shocks. Take 8 bolts out, 8 bolts in. That's really all that it takes. Anybody who's not familiar, you can take the link mount that bolts to the axle and you can flip it one way or the other. One way it will raise your ride height, one way it will lower. Depending on what Wraith you have, depends on which way the shock mounts would have came. The RTRs come in a higher setting than these Poison Spyders did, or at least than my Poison Spyder did. It had the shock mounts already flipped on this one to that. It had the low ride height. But anyway, these shocks are a great shock for a performance-oriented Wraith. Tons of dampening ability, tons of tuning ability if you want to pick up the spring sets from Proline that give you the ability to tune both the top and bottom spring rate. So I've always had good luck with these shocks. I've ran a lot of hours on these, on these same type of shocks in different rigs. So I think you'll enjoy them if that's what you choose to go with. We've got the KCRC King of the Goats coming up here pretty soon, and this is going to be my entry since my hit and run will obviously not be together anymore. But I think this truck will do great, so I'm really looking forward to running it. And we've still got a lot of mods to go in the future on this thing, so keep an eye out next week. You know, there's a few things that I could tackle. We still got those plastic C-hubs up front. It just depends on how itchy I am to get those out of there and get something replaced. But beyond that, I got a huge box in today. I bought all of Team 3.6. You guys may have seen him, may not have, depending on how much you frequent RC Crawler. But I bought all of his hobby stuff. So there's just scale upon scale upon scale accessories in there, and materials and things like that. And that's what I was waiting on, because I have a couple of projects inside this thing that I want to get done that will both be style and performance. So watch out for that. Hopefully that will be next week is when I'll start getting into that. So subscribe to the channel. See you guys next Thursday on this project. And also, if you guys aren't following it, I've started my new rock bouncer project with this this crazy chassis, and in the end this will be a really crazy project as well. So if you're looking for something else to watch, you can check out my channel and check out the couple of videos I have up on this thing already. And I'm trying to put up a video or two a week on it, so you know, I always appreciate the views. Alright guys, that's it for this week. We will see you next time.